Hi, everyone. I am happy that everyone can attend today that is going to be in attendance. It's Chris Hamilton here, and we are going to get started in probably about 5 to 7 minutes. I thought I would start this a little early, and what I want to do here is I'm just mucking around getting stuff ready just for the start of this. And if you guys can just bear with me, I will pay some more attention to you. And let's go to a couple of things here. So I'm your host today, and I am Chris Hamilton. I run a website called salestipaday.com, which I'm sure some of you people know. And are members of, obviously, my email list. So once again, thanks for coming in here. There's a couple of things. You'll notice on the page that there is a chat box below the broadcast. And if you want, I will be checking this periodically and checking for any questions or messages. I'm just going to type hello in there and see if anyone is actually on right now. And the other thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is that the broadcast today will be, it could be potentially long. I've got a lot of information that I am going to go over in this broadcast today, or this webcast today. And if you have any questions, just type it down below. If you want to send, you can send me an email via my, or send me a text via my phone, 403-630-1243. As I said, there is not going to be any replay posted up on this event, but you'll see why in a little bit. You will have access to a replay, but I'm not going to post it live. And like I say, you'll see why in a little bit here. So if you just hold on, we will start this in a few minutes, probably about 5 minutes or so. And one of the things I'm going to do is, because of the length of this, I'm going to set a timer and kind of give us a 30-minute intervals on this thing, just in case. As I say, this may be upwards of a couple of hours on this event, just because of the sheer volume that I've actually that I'm going to show you guys today in the in this presentation. So sorry, I'm doing about 20 different things at once while I'm trying to talk to you, and so my apologies if I seem a little jumbled right now, but the best thing is, it looks like we're broadcasting live, so I can see that. If anyone wants to know, I use a system called Easy Webinar. Excellent, thank you, Brian Manko. I use a plugin called Easy Webinar to do these podcasts or these webinars. So I highly recommend it. It's pretty easy to use, and I love using it for stuff like this. So with that said, give me a couple of minutes. I just have to go turn a couple of phones down, and we'll go from there. Hello, everyone. I am back now and ready to go. So I've got, wow, I've got 14 viewers. I'm appreciative of you guys taking the time out to take this in. We're going to give it about another 2 minutes. One of the things that I just want to do as a bit of a housekeeping here is that if you have any questions, there's a chat box down below. I will not be answering my phone, obviously, but you can send me a text if you have a question. And you can send it to text me at 403-630-1243. I don't know if there's any international viewers today, but there is, that'll work in North America. I have no idea whether it'll work outside of North America. Give it a shot if you can. If not, use the chat box. I'll be checking on that on a fairly consistent basis to see if there are any questions coming up. And the other thing too is that if you want to get a hold of me after the fact, you can reach out to chris@salestipaday.com, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And you're not going to be looking at my ugly mug this whole time. I actually have a presentation, and I'll be sharing my screen with you guys. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start sharing my screen now so that you guys can see this presentation. Okay, so now I got to make sure that you guys can see that. So hopefully, share screen, present to everyone. There we go. So I've got my screen up. So hopefully you guys can see that. I will take a look at my other feed here in a second, just make sure that it comes up. There we go. So one of the other things, just before we get started, I just wanted to talk to you guys about another webinar that I'm doing. Actually 2 weeks today, and literally 2 weeks today in about 28 minutes. And it's on sales lead generation. So a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, look, I need to find out more about how to generate sales leads. And I said, sure, well, let's take a look at it. So look, you know, if you want to join this webcast or this webinar that I'm doing, you can go to salestipadaday.com/SME-sales-lead-generation-webinar. That's a mouthful. Look, I'll tell you what, some of the things you're going to learn in this, you're going to see where 66% of all sales come from, yet only 11% of sales professionals know about. So flip that around and say 89% of sales professionals go after 35% of sales. I'll tell you where I'd rather be swimming. I'd much rather be in the percentage where I've got higher opportunities of landing a deal. I'm going to show you one thing that you can do in your sales process that will increase your close rate by up to 100% or double your close rate. And I'm going to show you where to find customers that typically will spend 2 times more than the average customer. And I'm also going to show you a way to find potential clients before your competition even have access to them. So hope you can show up, salestipadaday.com/SME-sales-lead-generation-webinar. I will send this out if you're already on my email list and get you guys the information probably within the next 2 or 3 days on this one. So once again, also, if you look at the top here, got a lot to go through. This could be upwards of 2 hours. If you have any questions, use the chat box or text me at 403-630-1243. As I say, there's not going to be a replay of this, but you're going to have access to this replay, but you're going to have to do me one special favor that doesn't take a lot of time to be able to get all this information. And I am going to start doing this one on a regular basis. And the reason being is one of the reasons why I put this on today is the fact that by no means am I going to consider myself to be an absolute professional or the guru of LinkedIn. I'm not. One thing I do know is there's close to 350 million members, almost 400 million members. I joined LinkedIn when there was only 6 million members. So it was really in its infancy, probably within the first year that it opened up. And it was actually gentleman out of a Canadian that works in Houston, Mark Sophia, who introduced it to me. And at first, I never really understood how to use LinkedIn. And then, over the last approximately 10 years, I'm going to say, I've learned more and more how to use LinkedIn and leverage the power of LinkedIn to generate better qualified sales leads. So I thought I'd actually share some of these tips with you today. Now, there are probably 130 slides sitting in this presentation. I'm going to buzz through some of these things really quickly. As I say, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get access to the replay, but you're going to have to do me a small favor. Once you get access to this replay, though, you will see that there is a tremendous, you'll be able to access all this information. Like I said, the one reason why I did this, I have so many people that come to me and say, I see on LinkedIn, I see the stuff you do, I see all this stuff, I don't even know how to use it. So you know what? I thought instead of you guys fumbling around for 10 years like I did, I would go through and do this. And the other reason I did this, and I'm sure my dad's on today because he is fresh on LinkedIn, he was asking me how to use LinkedIn. So he actually sparked the idea of creating this, this webcast. So hey, Dad, thanks. Big shout out to you. And we'll get going. The agenda today, like I said, there's 14 topics, over 100 plus slides, so settle in. You will walk away with a lot of information and understanding how to actually do a lot of stuff with LinkedIn at the end of this. And you know what? At the very end, I got some special offers. Obviously, if I'm going to give you 2 hours worth of stuff, I'm going to give you some. So I'm going to give you some information. Hey, Henry, thanks. I appreciate you shouting out like that. Appreciate that you could attend. Going to give you guys some special offers on this. And I'll tell you what, if you work in an organization where you'd like me to come in and show this information, I am all over doing that. Reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com. I'd be more than happy to help you guys with that sort of stuff. So once again, want to reach me, text questions to 403-630-1243 or use the chat box on the page. I'm constantly kind of looking to see what's going on. Hey, Mark Taylor, how's it going? I see you in the chat box there. We'll go from there. So I'm going to start jumping into this. The information. So I want to give you guys an understanding of kind of what buyers are doing nowadays and kind of what sellers are doing, what's working, and kind of understanding your buyer persona. And this information over these next 2 slides comes from multiple white papers on LinkedIn. That I went through, I combed through and found all this information. So I'm not going to read all these, but I've got some arrows here, and I'm sorry if you can't see these all that well. I hope you can, but I'll read some of them out. 49% of buyers research vendors through their LinkedIn profile. So think of it this way: you put your profile up, people are looking for something. Almost 50% of people that buy stuff will look at your profile. That's where they're coming from. 50% of buyers avoid sales professionals with incomplete profiles. So I've got a spot in here on profiles on what you can do to complete your profile and little tips and tricks on that. But it's absolutely imperative that you create a decent profile that attracts the right people. And I'm going to go into it a bit here. You have to think of LinkedIn in 2 different ways, I think. Well, maybe 3 or 4 different ways, but I'm going to go 2 different ways. First way is, if you're a professional looking to get clients, you should not have your LinkedIn profile looking like it's a resume. You know what? Because people will reach out or look at your profile and think, oh, you're just looking for a job. If you change it around a bit and make it look like, here's what I can do for you and your company, then you stand a greater chance of people reaching out to you. 44% of social buyers use a shared connection to find potential vendors. So this is literally people going out and asking for a reference from individuals to find solution providers for a service or a product or something that they're looking for. So huge opportunity there. This one kind of threw me for a little bit. It's incredible, but it's just, if you take a look at the way technology is going nowadays, most B2B buyers, 57%, almost 60% of them are through a buying decision before they're willing to talk to a sales rep. And so, literally what happens is by the time they're contacting you, they're 60% of the way through their process. They're just kind of looking for a few little bits of pieces of information, more or less potentially just fact checking or even price checking. which is not a market or a spot that you want to be in on that stuff. So, you can use LinkedIn to post up information, share information that's relevant, connect with the right people and stuff like that, and reach out to people on a consistent basis. So you can actually be ahead of that and start engaging people before they even think they have a problem. And there's numerous ways to do that. I don't necessarily go into it in this presentation, but hopefully you'll glean enough so that you understand that. One of the things I do fairly consistently, I do a webcast on cold calling. And this comes from a LinkedIn white paper. They talk about the average cold call rate is 2.5%. I flip it around and say 97.5% of the time, you're banging your head against the wall if you're picking up a phone and smiling and dialing for money. The other thing too is there's actually a white paper out there from Baylor University that shows that the average cold call appointment setting rate is literally, it's less than 1%, and numbers eluding me right now, but I think it's actually 0.6%. And they tested this with 4,000 individuals, I believe. So you can see just cold calling doesn't work, right? So the other thing too is in this, I'm going to show you how to get a warm referral that increases your odds of getting sales success by 2 times to 4 times. And it's a 200% to 400% increase in getting an introduction and getting in to see somebody. Hi, Chris McKenzie, I see you're on. Thank you very much. So, I'm going to show you a process that'll actually increase your opportunities of getting in the door. And once again, also, 84% of B2B decision makers begin their buying process with a referral. So if you start thinking about this, if you could leverage LinkedIn in an extremely powerful way to leverage your connections to get into the right people, to increase your odds. And literally what I'm doing throughout this whole presentation is I'm showing you little tips and tricks that are going to increase the likelihood of you succeeding. And even if you take a 3% and a 5% and a 10% boost in certain things that you're doing, when you look at it, literally, it's got an exponential impact that could be 1 to 2 times greater than what you're doing, as opposed to like 3% greater and stuff like that. So there's a huge impact there. Now, that was the buyer profile. That kind of gives you a set or mindset of the buyer. So, and literally, now we're going to look at social selling statistics. This is, a lot of this is comparison to reps that don't use, or sales reps that don't use social selling to elevate their game. So, first thing here, we take a look at top social sellers have 45% more opportunities per quarter and are 51% more likely to hit quota. So if you're a salesperson or you're a sales manager, you need to be having your people leveraging tools to get in the door in multiple places. Sean, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And thanks for being here. So guys, I jump in every once in a while to give props out, shout outs to anyone that's coming in on the live chat and stuff like that. So hopefully you don't mind. If you're a sales manager, if you're a sales rep, you have a tremendous opportunity to beat your plan and do a whole bunch of different things. Flip side to this, if anyone who's in the sales game, they understand this, man, if you outshine your quota or blow out your quota, then everyone thinks you're a guru or a master at stuff, and they'll ramp up your quota. So it's kind of a double-edged sword the way I look at it. But you know what? Hey, good, bad, and different, right? It's going to help you out and put more money in your pocket. So sales reps are 70% more likely to get an appointment from a cold connection request in LinkedIn if they cite a common LinkedIn group. So I'm going to go into information on LinkedIn groups. My suggestion is you should be in 50 different LinkedIn groups to maximize your exposure so that you can actually increase your ability to get appointments from any cold connections or outreaches that you do. Sellers who reach out to prospects with relevant insights about their business are nearly 5 times more likely to get a response than sellers who reach out cold. So I'll tell you what, if you're reaching out to someone with information that is relevant to what they have, guess what? They're going to look at you and say, you know what, this guy's got some smarts, or this girl's got some smarts, this person has some smarts. Let's, potentially I should be talking to this person, because if they know this sort of stuff, I wonder what else they know. So, increasing your odds, 500% there. Sales reps who exceed their quota use LinkedIn to prospect 39% more than other sales professionals. It literally means what they're doing is they're going into the sharing stream and they're liking, commenting, and sharing on content that other prospects post in LinkedIn. Now, why this is important is that every time you like something or comment on something, it shows up in people's notifications. So think of it this way: if you have potential prospects or clients that are out engaging on LinkedIn, and you can see that they're engaging or putting content up, if you start saying, that's awesome content, I like this about that, you're showing up in their notifications. Guess what? You are actually hitting their radar. So it's awesome. Hey, another Sean. Glad you can make it. Appreciate it. Thanks, Sean Patterson, for inviting Sean. Sorry, my eyesight's going. Santoro. So that's a tremendous opportunity for individuals as well. And you know what? Almost 73% of salespeople using social selling as part of their sales process outperform their sales peers and exceed their quota 23% more often. So all this information comes straight from LinkedIn. So let's take a look here. Let's go into the next one. So I'll tell you what. So here's social selling. So HubSpot, and HubSpot's a great little application or program that people should look at. Their wealth information, they're on SlideShare, which is also owned by LinkedIn. But look up HubSpot, and you can find a whole bunch of strategies and stuff like that. Great little company with some really good products and stuff like that. Their idea is social selling is where salespeople use social media to interact directly with their sales prospects. Salespeople will provide value by answering prospects' questions and offering thoughtful content until the prospect is ready to buy. It's a mouthful there, but you know what? Long story short, you know what social selling is when salespeople use social media to interact directly with their prospects. That's the one I really truly like. And tell you what, social selling isn't something that's should be looking at in the future. This is something you should be doing in the here and now. It should be part of any of your sales reps team. And the one thing I want to hit home here is that people that are leveraging tools like LinkedIn will absolutely, if they keep at it and put a process in place, they will exceed their plan and they will add more to your bottom line of your company. Just hands down. And not only that, they will acquire clients at a less expensive rate than typical marketing. It's incredible what will happen here. So that was a lot just to get through the first thing. Couple of things I want to talk about first of all. If you're on LinkedIn, the vast majority of people, about 80%, 81% of people on LinkedIn have a free account. I recommend that you get a premium account. And the reason why I recommend that you get a premium account is because of the extra functionality that it offers. The other thing that I reason for trying to get a premium account is, I'll tell you what, it costs me $50 a month for a premium account, but the amount of revenue that I pull off of leveraging LinkedIn is a multiplier that is beyond belief from using a premium account. And hopefully throughout this whole presentation, you'll see why you should be looking at a premium account. Hey, Derek, how's it going? Unfortunately, you can't do it. We'll talk later. That's okay. Appreciate you trying to show up. So here's, when you go into LinkedIn, if you want to upgrade to a premium account, just go up in the top part here, it says upgrade. So you click on that, it'll bring this up. What you've got is you've got your premium option for individuals to get different plans. So you got a free plan, and I've got another slide that goes into this. This will be the next slide here. But you know what, then you've got something for recruiters, job seekers, and sales professionals. This is called Sales Navigator. We're not going to get into this. I've used it. It's a wonderful tool too. But all we're going to talk about is LinkedIn Premium here. Here's the scoop. You've got your free account, your business plus, your executive, and your pro account. I've used the executive account. It's good. A little bit more functionality than the business plus account, but I'll tell you what, for $50 Canadian a month, and I'm going to have a lot of people on here that are also from the U.S. If you look at that, that's I don't know, $10, I guess American, depending on the exchange rate. I'm joking, obviously. It's probably about $35, somewhere in that range, $35 to $40. Well worth investing in yourself for getting this. So why? Okay, so if you go down the front column here, this shows you what you get with your free account. You notice there's gaping holes in here on certain things. And there is absolute reasons why you want to get this. This one alone, premium search, is one of the reasons why, because it'll find way more qualified sales leads for you. I'll get into that in a little bit here. One of the best things, the functionality, is who's viewed your profile, so you can see who's actually viewed your profile. You get to see deeper levels through the paid for accounts. I'm going to show, well, actually, maybe I won't be showing you guys this, but I have a process and a tactic that I use that allows me to reach out to people that have viewed my profile. And I'll bet you I get about 70% of these people to actually connect with me on LinkedIn when I start building relationships with them. The other thing, too, is that you're in messages here. In messages is the capability to reach out to individuals that you're not connected to. So kind of in your third group, or through third level, and in a group. So the difference between kind of a first level, second level, third level, and group connection is first level are people that are directly connected to you. Second level are people that are connected to you. Third level is people that are connected to someone who's connected to someone you're connected with, if I get that correct. And Brian, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Got your text here. In this one, it'll give you 15 in-mails. In the free account, I haven't had the free account for ages, so I don't even know if you actually get that. Paul, hey, great for showing up. Thanks for showing up, buddy. I don't think you get it. Someone can let me know if they have a free account, if they actually have the ability to send in-mails, or you have to pay for it. Introductions. This is also very relevant for getting introduced to second level connections. You know what? You can plow through 25 of these very quickly. Obviously, you can plow through 5 very quickly. And wait till we go on in this presentation, because you're going to see why this is important. And I'm going to show you a way to circumvent this if you hit your 5 or your 25, 35, or 50, a way around that. The premium search results, you get 0 here. Once again, I'm going to go into this in the advanced search functionality when I go into it here. I'm going to show you how this will laser focus you and get you pinpointed in the right direction to way more identifiable contacts. Profile search, obviously, you know, I get 500 people that I get to look at. Here, I only get 100. So you know what? Long story short, I get way more opportunities or way more people. Plus, when I start using the advanced functionality, advanced search functionality, this process I have is way more laser focused and will get you better results. Save search, guess what? This thing is killer. I'll show you a process that this is where LinkedIn sends you sales leads, either weekly or daily, depending on the accounts you have. And you should be maximizing this. And I'll show you why. This will put prospects in front of you that are 10 times more likely to change a product or service within a certain period of time. So literally, LinkedIn is handing you sales leads, going, go take a look and go try to connect with these people, because they're going to be ready to buy very quickly here. So that is the part there. And then reference search, you know what? Get a list of people in your network. You can provide a reference for someone if they're interested. Whatever. I've never had to use that, so I'm sure it's a nice functionality. So I got about 4 minutes before I want to take my first 2-minute, 3-minute break, so that you guys can just pause and relax for a couple of seconds. And I'm going to talk about building out a profile. And this is hands down one of the first things that you should be doing. A profile is about selling yourself and what you offer and how to set yourself apart from your competition or people that you're up against. If you aren't looking for a job, and I talked about this a bit, don't write your profile like a resume. Write it based on what a prospect wants and how you can fulfill those wants. So some of the profile tips that I'm going to go into here, there's 11 here. Your tagline, your headline. You should provide a benefit in there so that when someone looks up your profile or looks you up in a search result, then they're going to see what kind of benefit you provide. And I'll show you mine in a couple of seconds here. Put a picture in. Make sure you have a picture. It increases your profile views by 11 times. So without a profile, without a picture, people skid right past you. And you may be the best person in the world and the most right for doing a job for someone or doing something, but people will skid right past you because you don't have a picture. 50% of buyers avoid a profile without a picture. Get a hint here, get a picture, put a picture up. I'm going to show you guys how to actually put a picture up and the best way to get a picture up with some tips and tricks in a couple of seconds here. Add your website and your social profiles. SlideShare, which is presentations. You could put presentations into your profile so that people can see what you're about and some of the skill sets and thought leadership you have. You could put videos in. I'm going to show you how to personalize your LinkedIn link so that people will be able to connect with you easier. Add an industry. Put your industry in. Increases your views by 15-fold. Education increases your views by 10-fold. The other thing too is you have a summary section in your profile. And if you put keywords in your summary, so in my case, it would be sales and marketing or sales and marketing in Calgary or whatever. You know what? Make sure you put those keywords into your summary, and also make sure that your summary is more than 40 words. And the reason being is because LinkedIn is, think about it, it's a search engine looking for people, and it will find that based on your geography and what they think you do. So it's no different than, say, like Google. They will put the results up. So best bet is do that sort of stuff. Skills. There's a section in your profile that allows you to add skills, and I've seen a lot of people not add their skills in there. But I'll tell you what, it gets you 13 times more views. And the reason being is because people get to see what it is that you do. So here's my profile. So number one, get that picture up. That's a handsome devil in this one. That's me. Once again, second, now, this is your tagline, your headline. And in this case, what you do is put some sort of benefit in there. So in mine, I say, I'm your SMB, small, medium business marketing resource that will help you generate up to 10 times more sales leads. Then I got a call to action, ask me how. You know, I had a couple of people reach out to me in the last week saying, how can I actually increase my, my sales leads by doing that? This section 3 here, that is your industry. So this is the one where you get 15 times more view, I think is what it was said on the last slide, just by adding that in there. And you can, you can build your profile out. LinkedIn walks you through all this stuff. Make sure you include an area where people can connect with you or contact you. So you got your email, you can put your Skype in or your internet instant messaging if you want. Put your phone number in so people can reach you. If you have a Twitter handle, if you got websites, put them in and get it in here. And this is your personal link. Usually LinkedIn, what they do, and I'm in Canada, so they put ca.linkedin.com because they know I'm from Canada. But in this case, there's like usually a long string of numbers and digits behind the scenes. You can actually change that. And someone in Canada had already taken Chris Hamilton, so I put CA on the end to denote that it was Chris Hamilton. Long story short here, fill out your profile. What you can do, you can add video and slides to your profile. So in my summary section here, I've got a whole bunch of different slides and profile, or slides and videos that are sitting in here. I have actually, I believe I have over 100 that's sitting here. So if people click more, they get a whole bunch of information about me. Once again, also in your summary, make sure you put your keywords in. So there you are, sales and marketing, just to get found. And you can add these in your summary, and you can add them into any profiles that you have, or any of your job experience. So in this case, this is Interlinks, a company I was working for about 1 year and 3 quarters. I did a whole bunch of videos in there and presentations, so I added that stuff in there. Highly recommend you do this because you know what, your competition, go take a look at who you compete against, sales reps. I bet they're not doing this stuff. So it just kind of sets you apart. How you do this is when you're in any of these sections, you can actually click on this little button up here, and this is a profile section here. Work experience section, I believe. And you click on here, and then it brings this up. It says add a document, a photo, a link, a video, or a presentation. You just click on this and you add that content in there. Now, I was talking a lot about the profile picture. So by adding a profile picture, you will increase your views by 13 times. Here's a tip that you guys can use, and best of all, it's free. It's a company called PhotoFeeler. And so what PhotoFeeler does is you upload your photo, and they have a free account. Free account, the payoff on this one is you get to look at 10 other people, and you get to rank them on whether they're competent, likable, or influential. And obviously, you can see my picture down here. I'm competent and influential based on my picture, but apparently I'm kind of a scoundrel because no one likes me, I guess. But believe me, I'm a nice guy, I believe. This will go through, and the 2 pieces you really want, I'm not saying this because of the likable, is competent and influential. Those are the 2 that resonate with the most people on LinkedIn. So if you go to PhotoFeeler, you can take your picture, get a professional picture. Don't have like your pet rabbit in there or whatever it is. or hey, granted, I have kids, I love kids, but don't put a picture of your kid in there and post it up. Not very professional, and people will not go for it. You go into Photo Feeler, load it up, look at 10 people, and then guess what? Once you hit that 10th, then guess what? People will vote on yours, and you get to tell whether your picture is good or not. Don't have time to vote on 10 people, or don't want to spare 2 minutes of your life? You can pay, I think it's like $10 to get this done. Highly recommend. Go get a professional photo done. Doesn't cost much. Get it loaded up in LinkedIn. Get a few photos. Put them up on Photo Feeler and see which ones work the best as well for you. So that's one of the things. The other thing with your profile, and I'm going to get to this in a couple seconds. Get a rest. See if there's any questions. Is LinkedIn, when you're creating your profile, off to the right-hand side here, they've got a profile strength. And it starts at the bottom and starts building up. Also, the other thing, which I don't have here because I didn't have the space, is they'll put something up here and say, do you have any volunteer experience? What did you do here? What's this? What's that? LinkedIn leads you through all this stuff to help you build your profile and build it out and make sure that it works. And this isn't, this is a process that takes a bit of time. I tweak mine every once in a while, and just to see, what kind of impact it has. And you can see how many people are viewing your profile and see if certain things have changed the ability for you to get seen in the results and stuff like that. So as I say, I tweak my stuff all the time. I'm going to give you an absolute hint. On the right-hand side of your profile, in fact, actually, let's see. I'll go to my profile right now and show you this because I think it bears looking at. Is as you scroll down, there's a little thing that says notify your network. And when you go into notifying your network, make sure you turn this to no. And the reason being is every time you change something in your profile, it notifies your network. And I've had lots of times where I reach out to people and go, hey, congrats on the new job. I'm like, oh, no, it's not a new job. I just changed something. I'm like, oh, geez, okay, whatever. Turn this off. Save your friendships. Turn it to no. Make sure that people are viewing viewing your profile because they want to see it, not because you're spamming. Last tip I'm going to show here is if you don't have time to create your profile, go to Elance. There's a lot of great people. Elance.com. There's a lot of great people on Elance that will literally create a profile for you. So there you go. That's the last tip on that one. Right now, I am going to take a 1 minute, 2 minute break if people want, and we'll go from there. So, Chris, I got your note. Your screen is gone. I have no idea why your screen went blank, but we will. You know what? Bear with it. Refresh your screen. See if that'll help you. Help you with fixing that up and stuff like that. See if that'll work. Does anyone have any questions on that first bit? I'm not seeing anything. So what I will do is I'm going to start plowing through, guys, and just keep going on this stuff so that we can do it because there's a lot to learn here. I'm going to go into the advanced search tips on LinkedIn. So I got to give a shout out to my buddy Dave Ramnarain, who I used to work with at Interlinks. He kind of brought this to my attention about a year and a quarter ago. And as soon as he showed me this, it absolutely broadened my use of LinkedIn and the ability to get laser focused. So I'm going to show you some advanced search functionality. So here's how you use the advanced search functionality. When you go into LinkedIn along the top, you're going to see the advanced little link up there. Click on that. It'll bring you up, and it brings you up to people and jobs. So obviously, in this case, we're just strictly looking for people. Down this side is all the free stuff that you can use. If you have a premium account, which once again, I always hammer on, get a premium account, you're going to get some of this functionality built into it. I don't know which ones for sure, but I know you do get groups, and I think you get company size as well. And there's a couple more in there, just in the first level of the premium account. So you click here, you get this box. What you do is if you're trying to find specific people, you can use quotes. So this is for an exact phrase. So if I just pump in vice president and hit search, it's going to bring up people that are vice presidents, but it's also going to bring up people that have the word vice in their profile and also, or in their title, and also president. in their profile. So you might have a vice chair, you might have a president, and that's not the part that's not the way you're going for people. So what you do is if you use quotes around a name and put it in certain areas, it doesn't work just in titles. It works in any of these. As long as you got more than 2 words put together, if you put quotes around it, you're going to get better results. One of the things I am going to talk about in these, in a lot of the examples I use vice president in quotes, and in the uppercase, I'll get to that in a second, in parentheses around sales, or in uppercase marketing, like that. So just a note, just remember this. I'm sure you won't, but just take a look at it and understand it. That's what I use a lot of. When you use parentheses, it's for combining terms and using what they call modifiers. Modifiers are and, or, and not, and that's not's not in here, but I'll get to that in a second here. So in this case, what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for anyone that has a title that's vice president, and they may be sales or marketing. So it's going to bring back way more results for me, just based on that sort of stuff. And so the important thing to know about using and, or, and also not, is that they have to be in uppercase. All of them have to be in uppercase to work in LinkedIn for the advanced search functionality. So once again, literally, you use and when you're stringing together 2 or more terms that need to be included in a search. So in this case, vice president, sales and marketing, obviously. So that's, I mean, to me, there is, it broadens the scope here. Next thing, or. So once again, put it in uppercase. This will even broaden it even further. So in this case, I'm going vice president or VP, because a lot of people will put VP instead of vice president. And then I put, sales and marketing. It'll broaden that as well. If you don't want to include a term, this one is, in this case, when I look up vice president, sales and marketing in Calgary versus vice president or VP, sales and marketing in Calgary, you see the results are dramatically different. 35 versus 2,199. It means I would have missed 2,164 potential people that I could be going after, potential targets as well. So that's an awful lot to miss out on. The other thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is that when you use LinkedIn and you're searching using these different parameters, quotes, parentheses, or and or not, anything like that, brackets, whatever it is, the results change day by day. So they don't necessarily stay static. So anything that you use, if you use these, this result may be different, this result may be different as well. So just to give you a heads up on that. Last but not least is not. So when you're using not, it's when you exclude a specific term. So I want to see someone who's specifically vice president of sales, not marketing. So I don't want to see someone who's sales and marketing. I want to see someone who's specifically in sales. That's what I would do in this case. So here's how you use your advanced search functionality. And this is kind of the basis for doing a lot of stuff over the next 2 or 3 sections here. So what I do is I will use, once again, you click on the advanced, you go over here to the advanced people search. I select usually the first and second connections. And the reason I do that is because I'm trying to hone in on people that I have a direct connection to or a potential 1 degree of separation from. People that are in third and what they call everyone else, which is like people that just aren't anywhere in your network, are really tough to get a hold of, but there's ways to reach out to them. Group members, you know what, if I can't find enough results from these 1 and 2 connections, first and second level connections, I'll start including group members so that I can find more and more people. Use the location, because what happens is if you just hit this and put it down, it's going to bring back a whole bunch of results for people that are in different areas that you may not be, wanting to specifically target. Other things that you can do, obviously, you can click this button down here to add different places. So if I wanted to include Edmonton, for example, which is the city north of Calgary, I could put that in here. If I want to include Vancouver, if I want to include Los Angeles, whatever, you can add that in here. You can add stuff at a city level for most of the metropolitan centers. You can add it at a state or province level, and you can add it at a country level as well. So there's some of the stuff. If you're looking for specific people that were that are at certain companies, you can find those people in here. I'll get into that in a couple of seconds why you want to do that. You can nail people down by their industry. You can look at their past country or past company and stuff. A whole bunch of different things here. Now, the premium side here, I have a premium account. Once again, I'm going to plug it. I think it's wonderful to do. What happens is, I can leverage different groups that I'm part of to find presidents or owners that are first, second level connections in Calgary if I want. And then I hit search on this stuff and it'll bring back results. In this case, it brings back 173 results that are first level, second level connections and people that are in the Young Oil and Gas Professionals group in Calgary. Now, these are all first levels here. Let's pretend that someone's a second level. So Terry here is a second level connection to me, right? If I just wanted to reach out to him cold with an in-mail or send him a message over here, I am 70% more likely, and I went over this steadily, more likely to get an appointment if I say to him, hey, look, buddy, Terry, you and I are in the Young Oil and Gas Professionals group. I like connecting with like-minded individuals. Would you accept, an appointment with me so I can meet with you? I've got something that might be of interest. I want to learn more about you, whatever it is, that stuff. You're going to increase your likelihood of doing that. So this is that's an overview at a very high level of using the advanced search. Here's a little tip for you. If you go online and type in LinkedIn advanced search tips or Boolean search tips, or go to this link down below here, which I'm not even going to say because it's way too long. I'll leave it up for a couple of seconds. LinkedIn has a cheat sheet for you that allows you to basically use all this stuff, so it takes a second guessing out as well. I'm going to hit home one more time is that I use the advanced search for literally every search that I do because it gets way better results for me, and it's going to help you guys get way better results. So with that, we're going into the next section here, which is kind of leverages the advanced search in the next few sections, but also approaching your first level connections. I am going to quickly just jump on the live chat and see if there's any questions. Anyone have any questions thus far? Michael, hey, thanks for coming in, buddy. Appreciate you you showing up. And doesn't look like we have any questions, but got quite a few people that are viewing today. So I greatly appreciate that. And you guys investing time in spending with me on this stuff. So approaching first level connections. So in most of the following examples, as I say, I'm using vice president in quotes and uppercase, and sales or marketing in brackets, right? That's what I'm going to be using when I look through all this stuff as well. Joseph Smith in Vancouver. Hey, thanks, Joseph, for showing up. Appreciate it, buddy. That came in via text. So in this case, what I do is, once again, you hit your advanced search up here. Hit your first connection. I'm looking for people in the Calgary area. I'm looking for people that are vice presidents, sales and marketing. And I hit search. What it does is it brings up 25%. So I got lots of my buddies sitting in here that I know, like Bob and Rick and Andrea, that are first level connections. And here's what you do if you want to reach out to your first level connections and here's a letter. And this is why at the end of this presentation, you're going to have access to all this stuff, but you have to do me a favor and you'll be able to look at this letter because I'm not going to be very long on this. But literally, long story short, what you do is, you reach out to them. And I use this religiously. It's, I hope all is well. The title usually says, can you help me? Is this of interest? Something like that. And I'm sure people on this webcast have actually seen me do this before. I thought I'd reach out as I'm working with a company right now that is something that might be applicable to your company. My company has insert the product or service and the benefits that it does for your company, whatever. I've attached a document, a PDF, a brochure, or whatever for you to review, or you can see more at the company website here. Do you have time for a quick call about this? Now, this part's optional. I know it doesn't fall into your world, but I was hoping you could point me in the right direction at your company. The reason you put that in is because, once again, remember, you get 2 to 4 times more traction by asking for a referral. So you're asking someone for a referral to get into the right people. Please let me know if you have time for a call next week, or we can grab a coffee. I'll be downtown Wednesday or Thursday next week if you are around. Basically, hey, Mark Taylor, probably seen this before, I'm sure, because I've used it with you before on this stuff. So, and it works because you know what, Mark's been great. He's been more than happy to introduce me to people. But this is how you connect with people and start to grow your ability to leverage better sales leads. Now, I'm going to go into second level connections, and the reason being is because if you start to include second level connections in the area that you're looking at in your search. In this case, I was able to increase it by 78 times. The results came back 78 times greater than just my first level connections. And if I really want to, I can actually expand it out to different areas if I want to even get more people that I can come in. So think of it this way: is I've gone from 25 people to potentially almost 2,000 people that I can reach out to that are VPs of sales and marketing. And I'll tell you what, it'd take me forever to get through if I'm going to pick up the phone and do stuff like that. But I'm going to show you guys a way to get into these people and increase your likelihood of getting a meeting and appointment with these guys. So this is now talking about your second level connections. So your second level connections are people that are connected to someone that you're directly connected to. I'm taking a pause for a sec, guys, because my throat's getting sore. I got to drink a little bit of coffee and some water. And yep, Mark, I see you there, buddy. Thanks. Yes, it has worked, obviously, and I guess you can say that. Going into your second level connections, once again, hit the advanced button up here. Hit your second level connections. I use the exact same search term I had before, and I use Calgary. I hit search. In this case, well, it brought back 114. So this is where I say sometimes your results will change depending on things. I could run this 6 hours later, and it could be 1,000+ people. But anyways, that said, you know what? It brings back 114 more results for me as well. In this case, let's say I want to reach out to Gary Leach here. And I don't know Gary, but I see he's the VP of Marketing and Sales at M Private Residence. So how would I reach out to him? So here's what you do, is you click this thing here. And I'm sure on your guys' screen it's very small, but it says that we have 16 shared connections. I click on this, and it gives me 3 shared connections that I could potentially leverage to reach out to Gary. So what I can do on top of that was at the very bottom, it says view all 16. I click on that, and it brings back these results. I can go through and say, like, who is the best person that I know that I think could get me in the door? I want to use my best connection that's going to help me see this or get into this person, Gary, so that I have a conversation. Not to leave you hanging, here's a letter that I use on a consistent basis, and I'm sure anyone, once again, who's on this webcast that I've reached out to has probably seen something similar from this as well. And anyone that has ever actually recommended me or got me in, I greatly appreciate it. As you are well aware, I usually thank people after the fact, so always do that. That's a tip. In this case, it's like I write them out and say, hey, hope all is well. I hope you can help me out. Work in a new company. We do this. Hope I see that you're connected to this person from this company on LinkedIn. My company does this. And then what you do is, dumb it down for these people. Make it easy for them. Create an email that you would use. So that's this spot right here. Create the subject line. Create this. The reason being is that if you leave this up to somebody else to do for you, chances are they're not going to do it. People are busy, right? I'm not going to say lazy. They are busy. I don't have the time. If someone reached out to me and said, can you introduce me? I would be like, I truly, yeah, I could, but I'm kind of busy. What is it you want to do? So dumb this right down for the person. Say, here's why I want you to do this. Here's what it does. Here's an email that you can send to this person. Can you facilitate this for me, right? And I'll tell you what, and then let me know if you don't mind doing this. I can tell you more about this process if you'd like. One of the other things I include in here is, oftentimes I'll say to people, I have I have the ability to compensate you for anything that turns into a sale. If you're willing to provide a referral, you can approach that with people, but you just be careful. Some people take offense to that sort of stuff. So that's the letter there. Once again, towards the end of this webcast, and I'm going to send you an email after the fact that will explain this. I will give you access to this, but you're going to have to do me a quick little favor that literally takes about 3 minutes, and you'll have access to all this information. So I'm going to tell you right now, by the way, I've only had 2 people reach out to me literally in the last 12 months to do this. I am absolutely shocked. I have almost 3,000 connections, and it's not like they're low-level connections. I've got a lot of presidents, owners, C-levels, VP levels, manager levels that I'm in. And to only have 2 people reach out to me and ask for an introduction is mind-blowing to me. Just to give you an idea, usually when I reach out, I'm getting 40 to 50% of the referral requests that I do turn into a meeting or a conversation with these individuals. So Right now, as you guys sit here, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, connect to me, say hi to me, reach out to me, tell me a little bit about yourself if we're not connected. Anyone who we are connected with, obviously, I know you. If there is anybody in my network that you want an introduction to, use what I just showed you here and say, Chris, I would like to speak to this person. Can you introduce me? I am wide open on that sort of stuff. Use me as a resource, guys, to do this sort of stuff. I am more than happy to do that sort of stuff. I have one of three things I will tell you. I will tell you I do not know that person. Somehow we're connected, but I do not know that person. Second thing I will tell you is I know them, but not well enough to introduce you. Probably not going to get you anywhere. Or I'm going to say the last thing is absolutely, I will introduce you to that person. There's probably a fourth. If I don't believe in what you have and it could tarnish my reputation, I will not introduce you as well. But that, to only have 2 people reach out to me last year, I've never come across that. So leverage me, guys. Use me. I'm asking you to use me as a resource on this sort of stuff. Here's another tip. With a free account, you get 5 introductions per month. So when you go in and you click on someone's profile, you can get them to introduce you. And there's a process you walk through. I don't have it on here, I don't think, in this presentation. It might be later on in this presentation. You can plow through 5 very quickly. The best way to get an introduction, even if you have a premium, you got 25, you can plow through, I hit 3 to 5 people a day. If I hit 5 people a day, I'm done in a week. And I've still got 3 weeks left in the month to reach out to people. Best way to get introduced is just go directly to that person. I would do it outside of LinkedIn through email, and I'll show you how to get email addresses and do this sort of stuff. I would do it outside of LinkedIn so that you can keep that conversation going on LinkedIn or outside of LinkedIn and get the introductions directly to a person. Does it work? You know what? Absolutely. I'm going to show you how and why this works. So first of all, this is what I call the digital referral. Typical sales close at 25%. Referrals from people close at closer to 50%. Double your close rate just by asking for referrals or working with referrals. Referrals convert at 3 times to 5 times better than cold prospects. 65% of all new business comes from referrals. 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. 89% don't ask for referrals. It's crazy. 89% of salespeople don't ask for referrals, yet referrals are responsible for 65% of all sales and close at 2 times to 4 times the average and convert at 3 to 5 times better, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Use this process. It works. I'm going to show you another little tip here. So I'm going to try to find someone who's at a company. So for example, I want to reach out, in this case, I want to find a VP at Suncor that's either my first or second level connections. And the reason being is because I want to try to get in the door somehow to meet someone that's a specific thing. I could further refine this and go vice president of finance or HR or whatever, but I just kept it open in this case. So when you click on this, you can go in and then it brings up anyone that's on LinkedIn that's listed as a vice president that's currently at Suncor. And I can go through and say, where do I have any connections to these individuals and who am I trying to get into, right? This is a hit and miss. It may not work for you. It may not get you to the right people in the organization that you're trying to get to, but it's always worth a try. I always look at it that way. It's always worth a try to see if you can get in the door. Once again, if this is an example of trying to get in the door at a company where someone else works. So if you can find a person that works there, you can use this sort of template, which is, I'm wondering how well you know this person from your company, da-da-da, here's what we do, here's how it is. I see that, da-da-da, that person looks after this. I think if you know him well enough for me, would you be able to do so? I can provide you an overview and include an email. Dumb it down, make it easy for that person to reach out to him. So there you go. Any questions yet, guys? It's a lot to take in. Anyone who's ever been to one of my webcasts before realized that I put a fire hose on and make you drink from a hose tremendously. Once again, though, I am going to say that you will have the ability to get access to this replay, but I'm going to ask you for a small favor at the very end here. So now we're going to talk about approaching third-level connections. I typically, I don't really approach a lot of third-level connections. The only time I do is if I absolutely, positively really want to connect with this person or reach out to this person because they have something that will you know, I have something that will benefit them. In this case, I use, once again, Vice President, Sales and Marketing. I got third level and everyone else outside of my level. What you're going to notice is down here, I don't have, it tells you there's no connections because I don't have a direct connection to this person. One of the easiest ways to get into these people is to literally, you send an in-mail. So once again, one of the benefits of having a premium account is that you will be able to send upwards of 15 in-mails in the premium, first level premium edition, as opposed to 5, I think, or none actually, even in the regular one. So you can do that. What you do is you go through, when you click on, when you click on this message button here, what it does, it says, you know, choose a category. So you've got to actually choose a category to reach out to somebody. I usually just reach out and say business deal, and then you include your relevant information in here. What I do is, you know, here's along the lines, you know, is this of interest? You can put the person's first name, which is, hey, Jimmy, is this of interest? You know, found your contact information, looking for people with this keyword in their profile. You know, explain to them how you found them. Thought I'd reach out as I'm working with a company that might be applicable to your company. The company is called, and what you say is your company, and we reduce costs, increase sale, whatever benefit it is. You can see more at our company website. Is this something that might be of interest to your company? Would you open a quick conversation about how we can help your company with this? And I'd like to send you something, another related offer. Put a PS in. People look at PSs. You know, that's a way to approach people in that third level. It's really, you know, it is tough to get in front of these people, and a lot of times they ignore you. Another way to do it is, you know what, just go to their profile when you find them and click on this little down arrow and it says connect, right? And then what happens is, go into here, you pull this box up and it says, you know, how do you know this guy? Just go colleague. It says, Ryan, I came across your profile here. See that you did, you know, is this of interest type thing. Put a little bit of blurb in there and reach out to them. By the way, so this brings up a point. When you guys are reaching out to people and connecting with people, don't use LinkedIn's canned, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. It tells people no, it doesn't give them absolutely any reason why you want to connect with them, right? Reach out and just say, hey, I want to connect with you. I've got something that might be of interest. We have mutually beneficial common interest, blah, blah, blah. Read a little bit on their profile and send it out to them, and then send the invitation. That way, if they connect, you know what? First things first, don't jump in and start hammering them with a sales pitch. Send them some info, send them something that's a benefit to them, build a bit of a relationship with them, right? This is no different than if you meet someone for the first time and you start hammering on them and try to sell to them. Doesn't work. So you got to build a relationship there. Okay, guys, gonna take that's 1 hour into it. Glad that you're still here. We're literally about halfway through based on the slides, and I'm gonna try to plow through as much as humanly possible so we get done within the next hour. Take a bit of a breather. You guys want to take a breather. Let's see. Would this work on other tools like Facebook? So Jeff, hey Jeff, glad you could make it. You know, I can't see why not. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I barely leverage Facebook. Facebook's all about fun. LinkedIn's all about business. And people go to Facebook to kind of escape reality. I can't see why it wouldn't work. I did it before. I've reached out to a few guys on, like Ralph Roberts is he's a car salesman. He sells like some of the highest amount of cars in North America. I reached out to him on Facebook years ago with the, hey, you know, love your book, blah, blah, blah. Would love to connect with you. And he connected with me. So can't see why it wouldn't work doing something like that. I don't know per se, you know, if you want to go through and connect with someone, I mean, in Facebook, you can go through and see the connections. Michael, I see your question. I'll get to that in a second here. Can't see why you wouldn't be able to do it. Give it a shot. Everything's worth a try, right? I've never done it in Facebook, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on that sort of stuff. Give it a shot. If it works, you know what? Let me know. I'll let other people know about this stuff too if it does work. What subject line would you recommend to get them to open your email? You know, Michael, it's that's one that's a lot of experimentation. The one that I do like is, you know, if you're approaching kind of a first level connection for a second level request to introduce it, can you help me works because people inherently like to help people or help people through things. So that one works. If you're reaching out on a third level, once again, I don't do it a lot. And the reason I don't do it a lot is because it really, my time, I get far more people engaged from a first and a second level than a third level and group level connection. I've tried in the past, is this of interest? Would this be of interest type thing? It seems to work, but I'll tell you what, the open rate is nowhere near what it is from my getting introductions to first and second level connections as well. So hopefully that answers your questions there. Okay, we're going through group members. Then I start getting into the meat and potatoes here of some of the other stuff and putting a process together for you guys. So if you guys are approaching group members, the reason you want to approach group members once again, is that, if you have a common group that you're in, you increase your likelihood of getting an appointment from a cold connection by 70%. So once again, I'll default back to, I'm trying to give you guys little tidbits of information that you can layer on top of one another to get yourself way more successful by leveraging LinkedIn. And it's just you have to kind of try processes out for yourself to make sure that they work and see what works. The other thing I'm going to do, and I'll get to it later on here, is this is a process. It is something that you should be doing on a daily basis as well. Even on weekends, if you can do it or squeeze the time in as well. And it doesn't take a lot of time. I'll show you more in a sec. So now we're going to get into approaching group members. So once again, you hit this advanced function up here. You hit group members and you hit Calgary. I put in Calgary here where I live, and I put my vice presidents and stuff. Because I have a premium account, I'm able to pick different groups that I'm in. Yes, Eves, thank you. That's a great response. I wasn't thinking. I had a brain fart there. LinkedIn is very B2B. Facebook is very B2C, or even it's just peer-to-peer, C2C. Friends getting together. It's a party, right? It's the after hours. So in this case, I can select groups. If I leave the groups out, which you guys, if you have free accounts, you're going to get way more results. But if I want to specifically look at certain people and certain groups, I go to the premium account and get this. The reason why is also, if I look up group members, then I have an extra step. I got to go in and see what group they're part of, then reach out to them and say, hey, we're part of this group and everything like that. I'm going to tell you one thing that pees me off. LinkedIn's changing a lot of their stuff. If you've noticed, they've changed their messaging. It's no longer like an inbox, it's messaging. So it's wonky. I'm trying to get used to it now. They've got their own little things that they're doing in LinkedIn, and my opinion is they're throttling it back. They've got a lot of scale going on. They've got a lot of users. They can do specific things because they've got a lot of people hooked in. So just understand this. The biggest problem is that before, you used to be able to approach group members directly, and it didn't cost you an in-mail, or you could do it for free. Nowadays, you can't do it. It's part of your introductions or your in-mails, and you can plow through it extremely quickly. So once again, that's a reason why group members don't necessarily, it's not the easiest or best approach for you as well. I would do almost the exact same thing. Is just, literally, if you find someone in these results, just try to connect with them and get them into that first level connection so that you can start building a relationship with them. But anyways, on to the presentation here. Once again, group members, I'm going for Calgary. I do have this. I click search based on the president and stuff like that. I get my results. I get 61 people that are sitting in this, in the group, in my young professionals group. And it's, once again, I can reach out to second level, first level connections and stuff like that. And once again, so if I expand it to all groups, my results dramatically increase. There's a couple of different examples that I went here, but this is all the people I'm actually connected to on LinkedIn. I have about 8 million direct connections, kind of first level, second level, I think third level connections in there. If I use strictly just the group members, there's over 1 million people that I'm connected to just through the group. So once again, one of the benefits is join as many groups as humanly possible, because you expand the pool of people that you can go after. and that's strictly for the 50 groups that I'm part of. To get into it, once again, I don't approach group members all that much. Sometimes I do if there's an absolute necessity, but here's the email I use with these guys, very similar to the one that I used before, and just literally saying, here's what I do, here's how I can help you. You can see more here. Is this a benefit? Please let me know, and I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. Or we'll connect via email or whatever it is, or we'll reach out and have a conversation. So that's kind of how you go through your first level, second level, third level, and group member connections. I'm going to show you guys a great way to scoop your competitors' contacts or get better referrals. So just give me a sec, taking a drink of coffee, got a sore throat from talking so much. Did I say I appreciate all you guys being on the webcast today? I thank you very much for devoting time. I hope you're getting value out of this. You guys, if you are, just please, even just give me some feedback in that live chat room. Just say, yeah, I'm getting some great information. The stuff that we just talked about, by the way, was just a strictly kind of setting the foundation right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now tactics that you can get into to scoop up clients, get more clients, drive more results. Brian, go off and get yourself a coffee. There's a few things that you may miss, but I'm sure you'll get enough. Do I consult? Yes, I do. I'll get to that in a sec, Brian. I've got some things at the back end here that I'm going to promote to you guys as well, but I'm not going to do a hard sell or a push or anything like that. So you know what? When you go into a contact that you have, there's a section. When you go down to the bottom, there's a section called connections. And this is something that very few people actually use. You will see all the people that are connected to, any of your shared connections. You can see anyone new that they're connected to. And this little arrow or this little spyglass here allows you to search these people. And in this case, I'm using a buddy of mine that I met years ago, John Zahari, who is the president of an oil and gas company here in Calgary, to look at his connections. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to see his picture, his information in a couple of seconds here. I went in, and John's a very, very well-connected individual in Calgary. So I reached out, or I went in here and typed in, I think it was president is what I was looking for in his section here. Yeah, I did. So president, and I put it in parentheses so that it wouldn't pull in vice presidents and stuff like that. This guy is connected to 759 individuals. And if I click this advanced search here, it will bring back, what is it? It will bring back the results for president. So he has 62 people that he's connected to. I can filter this even further down here, but John's a good guy. I'm sure if I reached out and said, John, can you introduce me to Ralph here, or you can introduce me to this guy here, then they will do that sort of, hopefully they'll do that sort of stuff for you. So this is a great way for you to leverage your current contacts who potentially have some awesome contacts so that you can get in the door to these companies and get them to refer you in. So once again, I'm going to default back to referrals. Referrals will get you 2 to 4 times more sales success, more meetings, more sales success. It'll draw more people in, you'll close more sales. Leverage the connections you have to get in the door to the right people and the right organizations as well. Once again, same thing here. If you guys work, and in this case, I put in company sizes greater than 10 but less than 200. And like I say, it brought back 62 potential people that I could leverage John to get in the door. You're going to find a lot of people that will help you out in this case. For example, I look up here, my buddy Brian Anderson. If I reached out to Brian and said, Brian, would you be able to introduce me if I did this sort of stuff? He would. Barry Rooks does it for me all the time. Barry's an awesome guy. He does this sort of stuff for me. Simon, same thing. If I reached out to Simon and said, Simon, can you introduce me? He would do the same thing. You know what? This is an unused tool in LinkedIn. Very few people use it, but it's a tremendously easy tool to use to leverage people that are open to giving you referrals into people. Now, the other thing too, here's how you scoop your competition. So what happens is people will connect to people. I may have worked with someone who was at a company that I was at that went to someone else's company, right? And if I go in and go into their profile and do this exact same thing, I can look for the buyer profile that I go after. So if I sell to CFOs, I can go in here and put CFO. And if I'm connected to this person who competes against me, it's going to show me all these people that they're connected to that are CFOs. And if I'm not connected to them, guess what? Like, I'm going to start reaching out to these people because I know he's probably got a leg up getting the business. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking. Aaron, my account doesn't tell me the amount of connections they have beyond 500. Is this a setting? Aaron, I'm going to say potentially. I don't know. I'd have to. We can take this offline. I'll take a look at it. But it depends. If you have a free account, once again, you're only allowed. In a free account, you're only allowed up, I think, up to 100. In a premium, first level premium account, you're allowed up to 500, and then it goes 700, and then 1,000. So it might be that you have a paid for account, but they're throttling it at the 500 results that you can see. So that's probably what the answer is. Sorry everyone else got off track, but I wanted to make sure that Aaron's question was answered while we were going through it. So once again, you can go in, take a look at people that you compete against if you're connected to them, find out who they're connected to, and go scoop their prospects, right? And same thing, you can, to get a referral in, approach these people like you would be approaching them a second level connection. One of the cool things in LinkedIn is you can write posts, and you'll see posts in a second. I'll show you what it is. This used to be only for a specific handful of people in LinkedIn, but now anyone can put stuff up and on posts and put your information up. And so what a post is, it's your thought. It's like a blog post, except it's in LinkedIn. And in this case, I created one for the advanced search tips and the stuff that you just saw earlier on in here. And I posted it up. I got 102 views. I got 11 likes. I got one person comment on it. And, long story short, I got 102 people taking a look at it. Now this, I screen capped this about a week and a half ago. It might be even higher than that now. In this case, I get to show some smarts to people. Now, the reason why I want to write posts, you get seen as a thought leader. Your posts get seen by your connections. So every time I put a post up, in the notification part on LinkedIn, you're going to see Chris Hamilton posted a new post. I'm sure you guys get sick of that if you're connected to me, because I post anywhere from 1 to 5 times a week in LinkedIn. It's going to help you get in front of a wider audience. So I've got people that are second level and third level connections that see this because one of my friends liked my post and it goes into their feed, so they get to, they get people to take a look at this sort of stuff. When that happens, if I see a second and third level connection, I can actually reach out and connect to these people. I'll show you how to do that in a couple of secs here, I think, in this bit here. There are different ways to write a post. If you go to your front page here, right down here, there's publish a post. If you go up here, if you've already published a post, you click on that. It'll bring up a page that's that shows your post, shows your stats, stuff like that. If you go into interests and then pulse, this says pulse. I know it looks like Hubble Vision here, but it says pulse. If you click on that, it'll bring up a feed of news links for you. There's a way to publish a post there. If you go into your profile, if you scroll down far enough, if you've got posts, you can write a new post or view your stats in this one. As it relates to writing a post, it's super simple to do. First thing you do, drop in a picture. I use a lot of screen caps. I use a Mac, so if you use Command Shift and 4, you can actually screen cap a section of your screen. On a PC, I think there is Snagit. I don't know if it comes with it anymore, but you can use Snagit to do that. Write a nice, compelling headline for people. To get them to draw them in. One thing that works, that I found works, is X tips for this, 15 tips for that, learn how to do this in 4 steps. You give people like numbers and they go for that stuff. This section I'm going to get into in just a second. Number 3 is just where you write your posts, and number 4 is add tags. So if you start typing in down here, marketing, for example, it'll bring up anything that's related to marketing. Click on that. Sales, it'll bring anything up that's related to sales that you can tag this on. Doing that will get your posts seen by a wider audience. I've been actually very lucky in a couple of circumstances where I've written posts and they get picked up in certain groups in LinkedIn, and my post views go through the roof. So it's just, I don't know the secret sauce to that. Maybe luck of the draw, but it's tremendous. Now this section right here, I'm going to talk about in here. So, you know, H1 tags are they're called header tags, and it kind of bolds and it says, you know, here's what this is about. H2 are kind of subheaders to say, you know, here's something that this is about, but it's not nearly as important as this first one. This gives you open quotes. It's kind of cool. I'll put a line down and then you can put a quote. So you can quote people in here and it draws the eye in. Obviously, you guys understand probably bold, italicized, underlined, strike through, and stuff like that. Center and left, justified, bullets and numbers. These, you know, pretty straightforward if you're already using Word or any other kind of word processing program. This is pretty cool. You can hyperlink stuff through to different pages on your website or different things. So what you do is you take the URL, which would be at the top bar of something. If you've written something down, you highlight it, click that, and you put the information. You can add pictures, and you can also add videos. Now, I've had a tough time. I use a Mac. I've had a tough time using YouTube videos in here. Vimeo, V-I-M-E-O, will work in LinkedIn. So if you've seen any of my posts with the videos down here, it's because I'm actually using Vimeo to do this sort of stuff. So there you go. And I'm going to give you guys a really cool little tip that you can use that I do all the time. Is I go into Keynote, which is PowerPoint on a PC. I create something like, you know, sign up for our next webinar, blah, 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 whatever it is, put a link around, and I insert that picture in here. Then I click on the picture and I put a link in, and it goes to, like, for example, the link that we have for the webinar today. If someone clicks on this, it takes them through to the landing page here for them to sign up. So think of it this way: is if you have a white paper or document or something like that, you can put it in here, or a consultation. Want to give a free consultation? Get a free consultation on blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Put that in here after you've written an excellent piece of information that makes people think that you're like an Uber guru on sort of stuff, and put a link through. You can set them up to a landing page on your website, set up a contact form, set a whole bunch of different things. That will help you generate sales leads right there. Last but not least, the one thing I wanted to show you guys is my post stats. So when I go in here, I can see here's how many people viewed a post over a certain period of time. When I look, this part's the upper part that should be on here, down below. This is down below, and it says, here's who liked your post. So in this case, you know, I know Ryan and I know Kalea, but I don't know Luis, or I can't see her name, Tennessee, something like that. Anyways, he's a second level connection. He's a second level connection. You know what I do is I click on their profile and I connect with them and say, hey, thanks very much for liking this. And, you know, would appreciate connecting with you directly on LinkedIn. And in most cases, when I do that, like 70–80% of the time, these people actually connect with me, and I start building a stronger relationship with them. So that's some of the stuff you do. So tips on posts: post often, post great information. You know what? And the reason I'm telling you this, I saw someone put up a house for sale on the post the other day, and like for obvious reasons, I could give a shit less about a house that's up for sale on LinkedIn. That's not the purpose of doing posts. It's for creating content and sharing information. When you're creating the content, think about your target audience and what can benefit them. Build something around that. Have links to the information that you guys have on your website or areas, or a way to contact you, built into that post as well. Once someone likes, shares, or comments on your post, make sure that you reach out to them and show them the love. Show them that you appreciate that they liked it, they shared it, they commented it. You know, depending on how much you get or how much traffic and activity you get, sometimes you can't do that. But you know what? If you can try to make a bit of an effort, it goes a long way. It shows people that you're listening and you care about it. Once again, connect with your second and third level connections. Have a clear call to action in your post as well. And here's something that I do. So if you have a blog, what I usually do is I'll post stuff up on my blog first, and then 2 to 3 weeks out, I'll post it in LinkedIn. Now, the reason why I do this is because I get double content so that people can see it. The Google will penalize you if you're putting content up literally on the same day. And I found this out the tough way, guys. I put something up on my blog and I post it up on LinkedIn. And my views went down because Google was penalizing me for dupe content on this stuff. So, Rob, you asked a question. What do you use to record and edit video? So I'm on a Mac. I'm using, I use ScreenFlix for capturing. You can use QuickBooks as well, or not QuickBooks, sorry, QuickTime will allow you to record. That's a whole different webcast on this one. And editing, I use iMovie. Sometimes if I really mess up, and it's infrequent that I mess up, but I do mess up, I go to Elance or Fiverr and try to get people to to save my videos for me. But you know what? Typically iMovie works just great for doing stuff. I use a green screen. I got a bunch of different things. One of the things that peeves me about iMovie on green screen is that when you put a picture in behind you, it'll actually make your lips go back about a quarter second, so you look like you're dubbed a movie, a Chinese Hong Kong, kung fu movie, with your lips moving at a different pace. But anyways, that's what I use. So there you go. Guys, we're about 40 minutes left potentially, or I'm going to try to get through this in 40 minutes. It may go longer, and if you stay around, awesome. If you don't, you're going to miss out on this special offer to get access to this. You'll have to email me, chris@salestipaday.com, to find out how you can get access to this. I'm going to show you how to send emails. So emails, it's completely changed. When I was actually first putting this together, you could send emails in LinkedIn. And they changed it. It's called messages or messaging now or something like that. And it literally changed like 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like that. Aggravating me because I had to go back through and change this whole thing. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this and kind of understand how to use it. I don't like it. But, LinkedIn does what LinkedIn does. When you go to this page, when you hit your, by the way, when you hit your messages up here, it'll take you through to this message page. You can sort your messages by your connections, unread, in-mail, or anything that's blocked as well. Really what it does is it's showing a running history, more like, you're texting somebody or something like that, or messaging somebody. You still have the ability to add pictures and stuff like that, but I really don't like the way they've done this. Maybe it's because I'm as old as dirt, and it's, it's the way that younger kids like to do this. Oh, by the way, I'll put a stat in front of you, younger kids. Do you know that kids that are less than 25, 13% of them are on LinkedIn. And if you are less than 25 and you're watching this broadcast, the one thing that I would suggest is get on LinkedIn and start reaching out to key decision makers, because I'll tell you what, when you look at it, 87% of your direct competition aren't on LinkedIn and aren't doing this. You got a competitive advantage. So there you go. That's my little rant on the side here. So using a way to write to people, typically you click on here, you can hit reply and start doing this. You can forward it to other people. Another way is when you go to messages up at the top here, you click this. You can put people's names in there and click it down and start writing to them. Same thing, you can add pictures and everything like that. What you have to do, one thing that drove me nuts is that I'm so used to hitting enter, so to get to the next line, when you have this clicked, it's going to say, a box will pop up, say, are you sure this will send it if you don't do it? So you have to unclick it and everything like that. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. And last but not least, there's another way to send a message. You just go into someone's profile. So I got my buddy John Leishman here. I hit send message, and it will, you'll be able to send a message through that. Two other ways to send a message to your direct connections in LinkedIn is go through connections, hit here. When you get to your connections, by the way, they'll pop up and you'll see something like this. So Craig here, by the way, is a connection. I've sorted by new connections and connections only. I can hit this, it'll pop up, and I'll just say send a message to this guy. The other way to do this is you can actually grab a whole bunch of different people and put them in and hit message, and it'll include all of them on a message. So that's one of those ways that you do it. One thing that's cool about messaging, though, is you can actually tag people in LinkedIn so that you can send a bulk message out to up to 50 people. So when you're in the connections tab, so once again, when you go into connections here, it's going to bring up people. Down below, you're going to see tag. That's where the message is, tag. You can create tags. I think you can create up to 250 tags, although I don't know why you'd want to segment that many people. I've got about 25, maybe 30. I've got ABCs. I'll get to that in a sec, what I do with that. but I have a whole bunch of different ones. Down at the bottom of this list, it was too long to put in here, you've got add new tags, you can manage tags. When you click on these little boxes, it'll add that tag to that person. When I'm in connections, I can go into the filter box, which will be connections only. Then I go through and I hit this tag button, and it will bring me into tags. When I click this, it's going to bring up, anyone that's a C-level connection for me, and then I can grab them and send emails out to these guys on a consistent basis. So there, in this case, I've grabbed anyone who is an A-level and a sales tip a day prospect and put them in, and then I can send them a message. If I want to do this, the other thing that's kind of funky about this is when you're sorting by your connections, you can look by location, title, source, company, so on and so forth. In this case, I'm going to pick location. I pick Calgary. You could pick both. There is a way to look at just Calgary, Canada, or Calgary, Alberta, Canada. In this case, I picked Calgary, Canada. And what I've done is it pulls up anyone that is, has in their profile Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So for example, you can send this to on a geographical message. So if I have an event or a trade show or I'm trying to do something and I want to invite a bunch of people to it, that's one of the ways that you can do that and get people out. So Jeff, I don't know if Jeff Eldon's on this webcast, but Jeff has invited me to connect. So if you are, Jeff, great. Hey, Eve, let's see, Robert, Chris said Evier, is that Evier? Am I pronouncing that right? That's how you can do that on the other one. Let's see, is there advantage? Michael's asking, is there advantage to using LinkedIn message versus sending an email? Michael, if you're in LinkedIn, it is, it's easy just to message somebody because you do have a running history of this stuff. I'm going to show you a process in a couple of minutes here where leveraging email is way more beneficial to you, and I'll tell you why in a couple of secs here as well. So coming down the home stretch here. Okay, so guys, I'm going to show you how LinkedIn will send you sales leads on a daily or weekly basis. This is probably one of the best reasons for getting a premium account. It's the alert functionality in LinkedIn. So once again, if I go into advanced and I search specific things, so I copied this from an old webinar that I did. I used controller, I picked their current title, I took it in Calgary. I could have put Calgary down in here if I felt like it, but I didn't. I used it down here. And I wanted to find controllers that were in the oil and gas industry. And the reason being is because I was working with a company that specifically sells to controllers in oil and gas companies. And we clicked search on this, and it brought back 740 results. Now, what this shows me is there's 740 people that I could potentially connect to at different levels in LinkedIn. But even more powerful is I've got this search set up. I click over here on Save Search. It's in the upper right-hand corner. When you click on that, it brings up a box, and it's going to say Save. There's a little thing when you have this and you save it. And in this case, I have Vice President's Marketing, Owner, Vice President's Sales and Marketing. What happens is LinkedIn goes through, and anyone who makes a change in their profile on that word shows up in these alerts. So I can go into my alerts. When I looked into my saved searches, I click on here and it shows me anyone that has changed that. So that's what they denote by saying it says new here. If I click on that, I can go in and see 75 people that are in sales and marketing that show up in LinkedIn. And this was, I think I did it for specifically Calgary, or maybe it was in Alberta or something like that for this search. LinkedIn will give you anyone who changes a position. So once again, I'm going to reiterate, this is free sales leads coming to the door. And the reason why I say it's free sales leads is within the first 3 months of a person at a new position, they are 10 times more likely to make a product or service change. They want to make an impact on their organization. They want to grow their business. So anyone who is in a level of authority is going to potentially look at solutions that you provide. Can't say it any plainer. This is a tremendous asset, and I know So few people actually do this. Craig Elias brought this to my attention. So I don't know if you guys know who Craig Elias is. Reach out to him on LinkedIn and connect with him. He's hands down a brilliant guy, very smart, and has a lot of great tactics. Jeff, you're asking, are my slides going to be available? You'll see in a couple of minutes if you can hang out the end, or if not, then what you're going to have to do is email me, chris@salestipaday.com, and I'll show you how to get this stuff. Here's what you do. They'll deliver this to you in your inbox on a weekly basis. So, and if you have the one that gives you daily, so if you go to the second level of a premium account, they'll do this daily and send it to you. So in this case, I'm finding, I work with some guys that have a safety company. I'm finding a bunch of safety people that are changing their profiles. Now, I'll put a caveat on this. So you have to go through and take a look because, once again, some guys just change verbiage in their profiles. What you do is, like, for example, Simon, I would click on here and I'd say, come up, and it would tell you his new position. He's been there 1 month or something like that. In that case, I know Simon's brand new at that job. I should reach out to that guy and try to figure out a way to connect with him. So I'm going to go back to this again. Let me repeat this because it bears repeating. Within the first 3 months, a person in a new role is 10 times more likely to make a product or service change. Think about getting free sales leads sent to you, on top of it, with clients that are 10 times more likely to listen to you and potentially purchase your product. I can't think of a better way to use LinkedIn. Focus on decision makers, which would be VP level, CXO levels, so CFO, CEO, COO levels. Any level that someone has a budget and can purchase, right? Connect with them, start providing value for them, sending them white papers, explaining how you can do certain things. This is hands down one of the best ways. Once again, I'm going to give props and high fives to Craig Elias for doing this. Go to Craig's website, I think it's shiftselling.com, and look at his stuff. He came up with this idea years ago. He taught it to me, and it's a killer lead gen tool. So guys, right now I'm going to step outside of LinkedIn and show you in the next 3 sections a process that you can use to generate or follow up with people that you connect with in LinkedIn. So if anyone has been to my website or looked at any of my past presentations, hold on, I'm going to give you a breather. We've got about a half an hour here left, guys. I need a drink of coffee, give you a pause. I'm getting a headache. I can just imagine what you guys are like. Everyone enjoying this? I haven't seen many props here, man. Come on. I'm looking at chat wing, trying to see if anyone's saying yes. Are you asleep? Yes, exactly, Rob. It is like gold. It's trigger selling. So actually, you know what? Elias pretty much was one of the guys that came up with the idea of trigger selling. It's crazy. I'll give him credit on that sort of stuff. It's totally cool. I'm sure you, Rob, I'm sure you know Craig as well. He's an awesome guy. Reach out to him. He always will connect with you as well. And if you go to my website, salestipaday.com, type in Craig Elias in the search bar. I did an interview with him about 3 years ago, and all the stuff he talks about then is absolutely relevant today. It's amazing information. He's totally cool. Hey, Brian, good. So I'm going to go into Contactually. So Contactually, go to Contactually.com. I would recommend afterwards go to Contactually.com and see what it is. You can get a 30-day free trial from them. So what is Contactually? Contactually is a client relationship management or CRM system. It allows you to categorize your contacts, determine how often you want to follow up with them. It allows you to create emails, create an automated follow-up plan, and keep in contact with them and keep top of mind. So I'll tell you what, I was looking for a system like Contactually for years, and I stumbled upon it. Jeff, thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. Chris, thank you for the comment. Guys, I'm getting sidetracked here. I should take my Ritalin so I can get focused in. Sean, great, taking notes. Guys, you can take notes, but as I say, I'm going to give you access to this. If you do one thing for me that would take 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll get to that in a few minutes here. So, like how I'm baiting you and keeping you in here, this is awesome. I'm sure Mackenzie's laughing right now over this one. So Contactually is something that I came across in the Google Chrome store of all places. one day. So there's two that I'm going to talk about, Yesware and Contactually, and both of them came in the Google Chrome store. The reason I like Contactually is when you get into Contactually, you hook up your email accounts or email account or email accounts into it. And then what it does is it goes through and it says, all these email addresses, who are these people? And then what you do is you start bucketing them. And I think actually it goes into this in this presentation, but I'm going to go high level here on this stuff. It says, what bucket should they be in? Are they a prospect? Are they a client? Are they A level, B level, C level? You make your own definitions of buckets up, what you want. And then what happens is you put them in. Once you put them in that bucket, then you say, hey, how often do you want to follow up with them? A bucket, 30 days. B bucket, 60 days. C bucket, 90 days. And the reason I go A, B, and C usually is because, A buckets are people that I really want to be in contact with because they have great connections with them. B are people that I'm somewhat connected with but want to move into that A. And then, C are people that I got to work on and bring through. There's a book out there called Referral of a Lifetime. You can get the audio book or buy the book off Amazon. That's where I got that process from. It's awesome, right? So, Eve, I'm using Ebaska, links the LinkedIn profile to my Salesforce CRM, very effective. That's awesome. Hey, by the way, guys, there's another thing here. Onigogo, O-N-I-G-O-G-O, I believe is what it is. It's a piece of software from a couple of guys that originally created it to be a mobile CRM, but what they found it was better for is if anyone is using Salesforce here or has to track anything in Salesforce for their company, their app is like, I think it's like $15 a month or something like that. Anything that you do on your mobile phone, and this may sound creepy, but anything you do on your mobile phone gets tracked into Salesforce. So you don't have to go in and start writing reports. It just does all this stuff for you. So it's automated. It's an awesome tool. I wish I had known about it even like 6 months ago to a year ago when I was working for a company that had Salesforce and you had to track all this stuff. So anyways, guys, getting back on track here and getting focused contextually. So you see what it is. Why use it? So once you connect with people on LinkedIn, it's tough to keep in contact with them. LinkedIn does not make it easy for you to figure out when you want to follow up and track them or anything like that. Contextually, on the other hand, absolutely makes it so simple for you to remind you when to follow up with people. The one thing that's unfortunate is contextually, LinkedIn has they've really ultimately just removed what they call their API, so their integration layer into all these different companies. When I used to connect with people on LinkedIn, it would show up in Contactually and say, here's a LinkedIn connection, who is it? What bucket do you want to put them in? Fortunately, you can't do that now. I'll show you how you work around this. A bit of a pain in the butt, but you can actually work around it, so it works well. This, it's hands down, it's an amazing program, and Contactually saves me literally about 160 hours of time each month. So once again, the long way to add contacts is when I connect with someone on LinkedIn, I go in, I type their first name, I put their last name in, I put their company, put all this information, and put their email in. The quick way to do it, though, is sign up for an account with Contactually. Then you go into your contacts in LinkedIn. Once you're in there, then what happens is in contacts, you're going to see this page that looks similar. This is just kind of the top third of this page. Over here, it says export LinkedIn contacts. Once you export LinkedIn contacts, it brings you to a screen here that says Microsoft Outlook. And you got these three options. You got CSV files, so you got Outlook, Yahoo, Microsoft Outlook. Then you got some VCF files and VCF files. Don't worry about these bottom two. Just pick Microsoft Outlook. You just want the CSV file that you can download. Once you download it, then you go into Contactually and hit, you can hit buckets or dashboard or contacts or anything like that. And there'll be a little logo that says import. So when you hit import, then what it's going to do is going to bring up this screenshot. And what you do is make sure that you have comma separated, clicked here. You choose the file and just choose, this file will download for you from here onto your desktop where you have it downloaded. Remember where it is, and then you just upload it in here. One of the things, it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but you get to go through. If you already have people in Contactually that were in there, it will bring them in and match them up with who they think is the most relevant person based on name or email and stuff like that. So in this case, if you have what they deem to be potential duplicates or similar people, you'll see this thing that says merge contacts. It'll tell you how many you have to go through. So in this case, Sean Purr, buddy of mine that works at Interlinks, he actually has his personal email address in there. And so I just clicked on the little LinkedIn here, popped it up, looked at his contacts and contact information, and saw that, yes, this was his email. So I go click, yes, go, bang, move on, right? Same with Scott Patrick here, realize the same thing. So you just go yes, 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 yes. Some of them, you know what, are not going to be that. So you just either skip them or click no. Then you just confirm the ones that you're selected. That's how you import these people in. I have a virtual assistant out of the Philippines who does this every single Monday for me. So she goes into LinkedIn, sees anyone that I've added in the last week, and then she downloads that file, goes through, finds those people, and then pumps them into Contactsheet for me and labels them C level, and I get to see who also those people are and stuff like that. So there's where you go. Now, once you get these people in, what you do is you go into this buckets tab, or you can click on their thing and you can add them into buckets. And once you start adding people to buckets, what you do is, first of all, segment your people. They can be in multiple buckets. So, example, I've got people that are in A bucket. I've got other people that are in Equi Capita. They're the same people. Then I have other people that are not in different buckets. Just think of a person being able to reside in different buckets for different follow-ups, right? And by the way, these numbers are rather low right now because I'm just going through and vetting and putting people into ABC buckets. But what you do is then you put a reminder in there. It says, how often do you want to follow up these people? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, in this case, 45 days on this stuff. I've got 24 different buckets that I go through. Some people, I just put them in buckets, but I don't have a follow-up plan for them. Eventually, I'll get to them to see if, do they need to go into an A bucket, B bucket, C bucket? Do they need to go into another bucket? But for now, you're just sitting in limbo until I figure out what to do with you. Anyone who actually received an email from me in regards to this presentation, chances are you're in one of my A, B, C buckets or my Calgary bucket and stuff like that. Chelsea, hey, thanks, appreciate it. Celeste, sorry, my eyesight's going. I don't have glasses on and I'm trying to view this stuff. So the other thing that you do, so once you get the people in, you go in the right-hand side, there's your little picture up here, you click on here, you click settings, settings will bring you down to this page. You click on email templates. What you can do is you can create different email templates. And the reason why you want to create different email templates is because you can send the same information to multiple people at once, or you can send them to different people at different times. And so what you do is obviously you click add email template, put your information in, and it's there. In this case, once I've created a whole bunch of email templates, one of the killer things about this is I can now create what they call a program. So you go over here to program, click add program. In this case, I've got a personal new contact follow-up, and I've got also down here, I've got personal existing contact follow-up. What I do is I build out emails that are go in succession to someone. So in this case, when I connect with someone new on LinkedIn, I can add them to this program. It waits 2 days and it sends a message out to them with this, with the template. Then what it does is it waits 30 days and sends the next one. Waits 30 days, sends the next one. Waits 30 days, sends the next one. And the reason why I do this is it's just basically it's set it and forget it. And this will send hopefully valuable content out to individuals on a fairly regular basis. I've literally, I've had this with about 1,200 to 1,500 contacts, and I've had about 4 people say, hey, Chris, that's too much information, don't want to hear from you. So, granted, some people don't read it, other people do, but, just to give you food for thought, here's how you take your stuff from LinkedIn, put it into a process so that you can actually follow up with individuals. The other thing, too, is that when you go into your dashboard, it's going to say, who are these people and what are they? So in this case, Cheryl here falls in my prospect bucket and my Calgary bucket. Both of these, I have a follow-up mechanism in place to follow up with them every 30 days. And so it says to me on a daily basis, hey, you need to follow up with Cheryl. When I click on this button here, what it does is it brings up a panel like this. Now, I don't have Cheryl in here. I got Michael Kraus. By the way, Michael's got an awesome book. Look it up online. Look up Amazon, Michael Kraus. His book is like, I can't remember the name of it. I don't have it around, but it's he's a McGraw-Hill author. He's got an awesome book. You should look into it if you're into sales. The thing here is that I click on email templates and I go through. So in this case, look at this. I got my LinkedIn seminar that I'm doing today that I sent out to individuals. When I click on that, it'll populate this email down here. And then what I can do is down along the bottom, I can track to see if someone opened this, if they clicked on the link. If they don't, if they haven't responded or opened it or anything like that, I can put a reply in here for 7 days, for 1 day, for 20 days, whatever I want, right? And it will remind me, hey, you know what? Mike didn't open this. You might want to resend it to him again. The other thing I can do is I can actually, and unfortunately this is blocking it, but I can send it at a different time. So if I go, oh, actually it's not. If you click here, this button, it pulls up a menu and it says, when do you want to send it? Now, the one thing that's not sitting down at the bottom here is I can pick a time and date when I want to send stuff. So I can send all this stuff out. The other thing that it'll allow me to do is I can go into my buckets when I've segmented people, and you can see just in the background here, I got a few people with check marks beside them. I can click up to 50 individuals. I click this little thing down here, it says scale now. So I know it's blacked out, but just take my word for it, it says scale now. When I click it, it pulls up a box. I can click an email template, and then what I do is I click next, and it will put a message into place for me to send this out to 50 people. I can review each message if I want to add a personal touch to it. And then what I do is I can click send, or I can schedule it for the future. So in this case, I love using this for sending notices for webinars and webcasts that I'm doing to send out to people. That is kind of how you use Contactually. One of the benefits that I always use with Contactually, I love the guys at Contactually, they're awesome. They reach out to me on a regular basis. In fact, I just did a podcast with them about 3 days ago. But it is, I believe it's $50 US a month. And the reason I say US is because I'm in Canada, just so that people know that stuff. But I'll tell you, like, it saves me, just from that automated program and the process of sending emails, it saves me probably about 160 hours a month is what I calculated at one point in time. So it literally gives me 4 weeks of productivity for $50. Robert, thank you. Yes, Smart Prospecting, awesome book. It is an awesome book. This Contactually gives me so much time back on my plate. The automated emails and programs is just hands down as killer to stay in contact with people. I can also see who's engaging with me, who's opening links and clicking links. Just so you guys know, I don't look at that often, but if you send an email out to someone with some attachment and stuff like that, and you want to know if they're actually looking at this stuff, you can see, did they open it, did they not open it? Once again, once you're using automated emails and programs, you got to set it and forget it marketing. And the best thing, hands down, this is killer. It now gives you the ability to take your connections from LinkedIn and put them in a place where you can create a follow-up mechanism. I know, Eve, you're using Salesforce. I've never been able to find something in Salesforce that does something like this and tracks it and creates this sort of stuff. I'm sure there's a plugin, but you might have to do a few of them. But then again, I don't play in Salesforce all that much. So that's that. Contactually, awesome program to pull this stuff together. Next one I'm going to go into, once again, stop for a sec to take a drink of coffee. Anyone's brain hurting? Apparently, you're all quiet. Hopefully, there's still people on the webcast. At least I hope there is. Using Yesware. So what is Yesware? Yesware is a plugin that works with Gmail and Microsoft Outlook. Sorry, not Outlook. One of the things that's cool about it is it allows you to write templated emails that you send out continually time and time again. And it also allows you to track who's opened your emails. And one of the cool things that it does, at least in Gmail, I don't know if it does it in Outlook because I don't use Outlook, is it allows you to track, you can attach a PDF document to your emails, and it'll run a report to say, was this opened? How much time did they spend on each of these pages? So you can see, if you send like a 20-page proposal to someone, you can see if someone spent like 10 minutes on one page, 30 seconds on another page, stuff like that. So you can see, did they open the email and are they looking at this stuff? I'll get to that in a second here. If you go to yesware.com and you can download the plugin, it's like $5 a month, well worth it. Here's the ways I use it. So once again, I get my connections or contacts out of LinkedIn. I get their emails, and I will send them an email. Or people that I know, I'll send an email. The other thing is this little template button down here. I can create pre-formatted templates. And if you guys can read this, very similar to some of the stuff I've already went over, like, can you help me? So I take stuff, I try not to send these messages in LinkedIn. I try to send them outside of LinkedIn. So I think that answers one of the questions that one of the guys was asking here. I'm trying to look through, I can't see, but anyways, I take this message, I insert it, and then I send it off, right? You know, cleaning it up, obviously, putting the words in and stuff like that, and I send it to these people. By the way, down here, this is a little plugin I use on Chrome that will actually, when I put someone's name in there, it'll say, this is contextual, it'll say, who's this person and what bucket do you want to add them to? So you can like kind of, you know, run the two similar and put people in contextually as well, so that you can put a follow-up process in place with these guys. That's how you put an email together for someone in Yesware. Then what you can do is you click this button down here, and that tracks the opens and clicks that go on. If I want to remind myself to follow up with someone, I click this button here. So basically, you know, up here, I can pick a time and date when I want to follow up with someone. Or sorry, this is when I follow up with people. That's when I can send it later to someone. The other thing you can do is you can actually add any emails into your CRM system. So I know it works in Insightly, and it works with Contactually. I believe it works with Salesforce as well. You'd have to do some digging to understand how that works, but yeah, it works. It's perfect. The other thing too is if I don't want to send an email now, and for example, like I go down to Scottsdale, I have a house in Scottsdale. I want to send an email off to someone while I'm traveling. I can select a later date and time. I may be up in the air, but I can send that email to them as well. Last but not least, this is one where I'm talking about, is if you click this button, you can attach, I believe it's just PDFs right now. And you can see when it's open, what they're looking at, how often, you know, they've opened it, how long they're looking at things. So that's just great competitive intelligence. The other thing that it does is when I'm in my Gmail account, I can click in and see, has anyone opened, has someone you know, clicked on a link, have they done stuff? So I've got different parameters. I can look at in my emails who's not opened something, who's opened and not replied, who's clicked. Can I take something and actually send it through to my CRM? So this will tie into Salesforce and a bunch of different sites too as well. I just click it right into it. I can see what I've got scheduled, and I see if I've got any reminders out there as well. You know what, for $5 a month, and if you use Gmail, this is like hands down one of the coolest things. Also, like I said, also works in Outlook. And I have used it in Outlook, but I haven't for several months, so I don't know what it's like nowadays, but it's pretty cool. Benefits of using this, right? Creating get some templated emails, see if they're open, see if people are clicking on links, see if they're interested in the document you send, setting up you know, reminders to follow up, and tracking all this in Salesforce. So I got 7 minutes, and I got to plow through a few more slides. So whew, here we are, coming down the home stretch here, guys. I'm going to show you the process that I use to find potential prospects and clients. Now, this is a very high level here, but it's going to show you how I do this. So, first step, I create an avatar. I try to picture what someone is. I want to know what their title is, where they are geographically, what industry they're in, who they serve, so on and so forth. You know, there may be other parameters you put in here, but truly think about the ideal prospect for you. And that's really what you have to have in your mind when you start going out and trying to find individuals. Then what you do, go into LinkedIn and use that advanced search. Use the first, second, third, and group level if you want. I usually use first and second. If I have to expand the horizons, I'll go into the third and group level. Put that person's characteristics. So typically it's going to be a title. It could be an area, it could be in a place. Use any of these parameters that you have access to. If you have a premium account, obviously use this stuff, and try to find the ideal people, right? If you're going after people that are in the second, third, and group level, remember, use it via what I call the digital referrals. Use your first level connections to get into the people that you want to get into. You're going to increase your likelihood of getting into them and have way more success. You know, your third level and group level people, send in mails, try to connect with them directly, you know, all that good stuff. Because of the fact that, you know, if you can bring people in and connect with them at a first level connection, that's when you start building those relationships. One of the things that I do, as I showed you before, is I try to take a lot of the conversations outside of LinkedIn. I still use messaging, or what used to be email, in LinkedIn, but I'll try to take it outside. So if I connect with someone, I click this button down here, which is contact info, and see if I can get their email address. And then I'll also see if I get their phone number, but more or less email address, and then send them some information or connect with them, or just say thanks a ton for connecting as well. As I say, the easier way, go into connections, go down here, and you can export it and get all these email addresses. You can add, upload it to Outlook, put it in contextually, see if you can download it to your email marketing system. Once you do that, though, one of the things I just want you to be aware of is that when you download the files, literally you're going to get a first name, second name, first name, last name. Sometimes, I don't think I've ever seen middle name suffixes. I don't think are in there too. And email address. Literally, that's all LinkedIn's going to give you. But the juice or the gold is the email addresses, which you really want. That's the only thing that you really want to have a connection to. Then add them to Contactually. Get them into your system, or start reaching out to people on Yesware. As I say, you know what? If you send an email from Yesware in Google Chrome, you can put this Contactually plugin here, which will bring up the person and say, hey, what bucket do you want to put them in? And you can click and add them to a bucket. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone by sending a message that way. So now what I've got is, I've got my people, I found them, got their email addresses, I'm putting them into my Contactually or my Salesforce or whatever I'm using. I'm using Yesware to reach out to these guys. I'm tracking stuff. I'm putting a plan in place to reach out to them. What you want to do is, as I say, you want to reach out for meetings and introductions, or to add people to a follow-up campaign. So that's ideally what you're doing here. But, does it take a lot of time to do this kind of process that I was talking about here? So when I'm trying to find ideal candidates and reaching out to people or connecting with people on potentially with referrals, hey, Yves, thanks for coming, bud, appreciate it. You have, what I do is Sunday, I spend up to about an hour trying to find ideal candidates or prospects for me that I haven't connected with before, but that I have a first level connection into this second level connection. The reason why it takes me up to an hour is because I'm doing about 4 or 5 different things. So I'm literally trying to find anywhere from 20 to 30, probably each group, probably about 15 people, so about 60 different people that I'll be reaching out to on a consistent basis. So it takes about up to an hour, but sometimes I've done it a lot less time as well. Then what happens is, you have to start reaching out to your connections or to these people. And what I do is, first thing in the morning, usually, I go through, I use the templates that I have, and I start reaching out to people saying, hey, can you connect me to this person? Or, hey, we're connected this way through this person. I want to reach out to you. I spend about 20 minutes a day doing that, Monday through Fridays. Sometimes I give myself a reprieve on Saturdays, but literally it doesn't take a lot of time if you get a process down and nail it down to start getting stuff done. One of the things I do that I have to recommend is make sure that you are tracking who you're reaching out to. So this is what every Sunday I sit down, I go, who's the person? What's the company? What's their title? When did I reach out to them? What kind of level of connection? Did I reach out direct? Yes or no? Can I get a referral? Did I get a referral? How many connections do I have? So it's important to, if you can, find people where you have more than one connection, because sometimes people just don't connect you in, or can't connect you in, or don't know that person. So you know what, you say, hey, that's okay. I'll try someone else and see if I can get in, right? And then make a note, say when you first send it out, whatever parameters you want to go and follow up on and track and stuff like that. The other thing you want to do is understand that when you start reaching out to people, for example, Al here, if I reach out to Doug, my buddy Doug Hodgson, I'd say, hey, Al, or Doug, can you introduce me to Al? Doug may not get back to me. If I have another level connection, I just want to make sure that I go back like 2-3 weeks later and say, hey, I didn't actually get, Doug didn't introduce me. I could either send a note to Doug again and say, Doug, please, can you introduce me? Or I'll look for potentially a next level connection that I have and say, can you introduce me to Al? Or I'll just go send an in-mail direct or try to connect with that person directly. So literally, long story short, make sure you're tracking this stuff and you're cycling people through. Once they actually come on board and once you start making a connection, so in this case, Cam Mitchell, Michelle Strew are people that I've met with, and I start putting them into my Contactually and my CRM so I can follow up with them. So that is, at a high level, a process I use. I track stuff, I find people, I send messages out to them. It takes me upwards of an hour on Sunday or Saturday if you want. You can change, move it around whenever you want. And then 20 minutes a day. I'm just reaching out to people about 20 minutes a day to do this sort of stuff. It doesn't take long. Does it work? So I'm going to show you. Does it work? Absolutely. So what's this Hubble Vision graph showing you guys right now? We've hit 11 o'clock. If you can bear with me for a few more minutes, we're going to be done. It's a company I worked with called Intralinks, and a great little company out of New York, but I left them back in April to pursue my own endeavors, obviously. And the interesting thing here is I leverage LinkedIn. I was probably the top 1 or 2 people in LinkedIn that in that company that was leveraging LinkedIn. These names shall remain nameless because I can't even see who they are, but there's literally about 200 forward client-facing people here. I leveraged LinkedIn, I leveraged Contactually, I leveraged MailChimp to send mails out, and I used a lot of WebExes. And as you can see by the sheer volume that I'm doing, and you know what? I was able to accomplish this in less time than most of the reps that were out there. So I literally got 22 more emails going out the door to targeted prospects on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. I got 10 times more meetings. So literally the results of this, by doing this kind of action and doing it in a very focused effort, I literally got 10 times more meetings than most people in our company. And then what happened was I also did 30 times more WebExes or demos online because of the fact that I was leveraging a whole bunch of tools or social selling that was at my disposal. So I'm going to tell you, you know what, it works. Just look at this result here. Not high five myself and group hug myself, but I'll tell you what, it totally works. So guys, we're coming down the home stretch. How do you keep engaged with someone? So once you've connected with someone on LinkedIn, what do you do? How do you keep engaged with them? Do as I do. Hold a monthly webinar. Like you guys came, I've reached out to you. Hold monthly webinars and do stuff like this. Educate people. Show your smarts. You know, people will reach out to you, and it's all about what kind of relationships can you build. Write some content. Send some recorded videos. You know, anything that you can do to keep in contact with someone. What I hate is the one and done. Like when you connect with someone on LinkedIn and you never connect with them again, and I'm guilty of this as well, is, you know, I connect with someone 4 years ago and I do nothing about it. It's like, that is such a shame. You give up on a huge opportunity, especially with tools like Contactually, Yesware, Salesforce, anything like that, that will remind you, keep in touch with this person. Here's how you can keep in touch with this person. So keep engaged, create some content. You know, even just a, hey, how you doing? How can I help you out? Email that goes out to people. That'll help. One last tip. So once again, you know, I'm going to tell you, your goal in LinkedIn is to build relationships, not lots of connections. You know, I've got buddies out there that have just a bucket load of connections, but connections mean jack shit unless you're actually doing something and building some level of personal interaction with these people and building on a relationship that's going to amount to something. You know, that is probably your prime goal. Your secondary goal is provide value to those that you're connected to. So, you know, that is kind of the last tip that I'm going to leave you with. Now, thank you for coming to the end. I tried to do this in 2 hours. I'm about 4 minutes over. But that said, it's like drinking from the fountain hose. And there's a lot of information that you guys got out of this webinar. Here's what I'm going to say is, if you want a copy of this replay, what I will do is I will give it to you personally, but you have to do me a favor. So this is the 2 to 3 minutes that you have to do in order to get this killer content. Is first thing you have to do is, if you're not, go and connect with me on LinkedIn. Look up Chris Hamilton, Calgary. You're going to see my ugly mug and connect with me on LinkedIn. First thing you need to do. Next thing you need to do, go to the send message button, click on this down arrow here and hit recommend. Please send me a recommendation. This is social proof. This is the stuff that people want to see. Brian, sounds good, buddy. Give me a recommendation. I'll send you this. Give me a recommendation. Say, you know, Chris gives out fantastic information on a consistent basis in his webinars. I'll take that. Chris taught me lots of information. If I've worked with you before, hands down, Chris has done some great job. If you give me a rotten recommendation, I'll still send it to you. I just won't post it on my LinkedIn profile. So there you go. So that's my ask of you guys. In order to get this stuff, and this content, this took me 80 hours to pull together. Once it's all said and done, it drove my wife nuts over the last month while I was pulling this stuff together. But it took 80 hours. It takes a lot of time, guys, to do this sort of stuff. So all I'm asking in return from you is please give me a recommendation. It allows me to, have social proof on my profile so that when people find me, they see that I'm doing good things for the likes of you. It allows me to keep going on with the stuff that I have. Now, guys, I'm going to go into a pitch. I don't love pitching. I like educating and building relationships, but I am going to pitch this for you, right? So one thing that I am doing with this, I am creating a LinkedIn social selling success course. I will send an email out in the next day or two here on this. I have created well over right now 10, 15 hours of content. It's going to give you a lot of this information, not only out of this presentation, but going to give you screen caps of my computer and how to do a lot of this stuff. Also, we're on slide 133. If you take a look down here, I got a whole bunch of other slides that I'm building into this LinkedIn course that are equally as good, if not better, than the stuff that I presented to you guys or shared with you guys today. So you're going to see an email from me that's going to talk about this. You know what? Next 7 days, I'm going to do this. Normal price is going to be $199, but I'm going to give it to you guys for $99. If you want this, reach out to me, 100% guarantee. If you think it's shit, tell me. I'll refund your money. Dad, I know you're probably on here, and if you hear me swearing, I'm sorry. But I'll tell you what, I will give you a 100% guarantee on this. Not only that, I'm going to give you also 8 hours of marketing courses that I've created that'll help you out marketing yourself in multiple other ways as well on this one. So that's a killer content, guys, for $99. If you're interested, email me, chris@salestipaday.com. Tell me that you're interested, and I will send something out to make sure that you guys go on that. Next thing I'm going to do, and this depends on how many people actually join, I'm going to create a 4-week LinkedIn Selling Success online training course for up to 9 people. I'm going to run it through Google Hangouts. And the reason why I say 9 people, it's got to be me and 9 others is who can be on this, so that it can be collaborative. Each week is going to be a 2-hour session. I'm going to give you the also the LinkedIn social selling course that's regularly $199. I'm going to give you the 8 hours of marketing courses on top of that. This is $499, but by the end of this, you know what, we'll have you cranking, walking through, setting up your profile, setting up a process, and making sure you're adhering to a process and generating multiple sources of potential leads for you and your business to get in the door. Next one I'm going to do, this is kind of my premium Cadillac, is I will do one-on-one 1-hour sessions with you over a 8-week period. You're also going to get my social selling course plus the 8 hours of marketing. This one is one-on-one with me teaching you how to do this stuff. And that one's $1,500. I'm going to be sending information out on this, and you'll see it. Once again, not hard pitches, guys, but you know what? There's multiple levels that you can kind of leverage this stuff. First one being free to get the course. Simply give me a recommendation on LinkedIn. Next thing, I'm creating a course, going to be probably easily 15, 20 hours of content on how to do this stuff that'll walk you through all this stuff step by step. Next is a coaching session with a group of your peers. And last but not least, one-on-one connections. Last slide, I'm going to run through a few more at the bottom here just so you guys can see what kind of killer content I'm pulling together. The sales lead generation webinar that I'm doing, my buddy Chris McKenzie has been the one pushing me for this one, and so I decided to do it. You can go to salestipaday.com/SME sales or SME-sales-lead-generation-webinar. You also see this come out in an email in the next 2 or 3 days on this stuff. Literally, guys, I'm going to show you. I'll open the door a little bit. It's about leveraging referrals, but I'm telling you how to put a process together for what you do. and not only leverage referrals, but I'm going to show you a 12-month period where people are at their most likely to spend gobs of cash. So I'm gonna just, it's a referral process that you can leverage to get people that will spend upwards of 24 times more than what they normally spend in a certain period. So that in its own is going to be a tremendous webcast to go to as well. I got to thank my buddy Chris McKenzie for pushing it and also promoting it out to individuals. Once again, I'm going to say, if you own a company or have a company or you want me to bring me in to talk to your company about this sort of stuff, I am open to it. Reach out to me at chris@salestipaday.com. Phone me at 403-630-1243, and I would be more than happy to talk to you about how we could facilitate that sort of stuff. If anyone wants to hang around for about another 5 minutes, I'm just going to buzz through some of these remaining slides so you can see what is going to come up in this course. Anyone still there? Just checking. I'm looking in chat wing right now, seeing if anyone's there. Give me a hi, just say hello or something like that. Just let me know that you're still here, or else I'm just talking into the wind right now. Haven't seen anything, but I'll keep looking. So here's some of the stuff what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through my top list, right? I'm going to show you guys how to get recommendations, kind of similar to what I'm doing right now. The other thing I'm going to show you how to reach out and get recommendations. I'm going to show you how to get endorsements, or why you should be doing endorsements, and why and how you can leverage that to get in front of people. I'm going to show you how to start connecting with individuals in LinkedIn and everywhere. I'm going to show you how to share information and get on your prospects' radars. I'm going to show you different techniques and tricks that you can use on that. I'll show you how you can like. And hey, Rob, thanks for the recommendation. Aaron, hey, thanks, buddy. Celeste, hopefully I'm saying that right. Sorry, I gotta get glasses. My eyesight's going. It looks like that. You're still here. Appreciate it. I'm gonna show you how to use likes and commenting on posts to get in with individuals that you're not connected to, and generate a connection with these people. The other thing, I'm going to show you how to connect with anyone who views your profile. That's a little technique that, you know, it's a technique that very few people actually use, and it's like a huge way to grow your network with like-minded people. I'm going to show you a plugin that's called Reportive that shows you how to grow your network. I'm going to show you what you can do to give introductions to move, people together, how to join 50 groups, what kind of groups, how to find them, how to start them, so on and so forth, and some of the benefits of doing that. I'm going to show you how to send an email through a group. Celeste, glad I got it. Sorry. Hey, Jeff, thanks a ton, buddy. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to show you. Oh, this is a great one. I'm going to show you not only sending it through a group, sending an email through a group that you run, is how you can get in front of like tons of people with your message. How when posting in groups can get you in front of people. But I'm going to let you in on a little tip. When you go find people in groups, you can find group owners and say, hey, would you be willing to promote this? And if you are, for example, if I create this LinkedIn selling course, when I create this LinkedIn selling course, I can reach out to guys that are in different groups and say, hey, by the way, would you look at promoting this to your members in an email that you can send out, and I will split the profits with you X and X. And you'll find that people will do that, and you end up getting way more sales. So I mean, it's just techniques that you can use. What else I got in here? Oh yeah, how to say happy birthday and new jobs for people. That's another one. So I only got to 11, but I'll probably have like 20 or 30 other tips in here as well. So, and as you can tell by the amount of blankness and stuff on these slides, it's not 100% done yet. But eventually, my LinkedIn selling course will be done in probably, I'm going to say the next 2 weeks, but then again, I'm also going on vacation next week. So we'll see if my wife allows me to do some work while I'm away on vacation with her on this stuff. She's used to that sort of stuff by now. Once again, guys, first thing I got to say, absolutely thank you ever so much for devoting 2 hours and 15 minutes of your life potentially to listen to a guy like me. I cherish stuff like this. Is this a $99 package? Yes, it will be this, but there'll be a lot more to it than that. I'm going to do walkthroughs. I've got, Aaron, I'm just answering your question. It will be how to walk through and do this stuff. So I'll show you a bit on the presentation. And then I'll go through and do live on this stuff, and I'll have related, I'll have some of the introduction letters that I use and tips and pieces of information, how to set up stuff and everything like that. So that's what that package will be. The package itself probably won't be ready for a couple of weeks, but you can pre-order. Once again, I also say there's a it's $99. I think it'll be more than enough to warrant the value from that. But if you do not see value in it, I am not a big fan of making you pay for something where there's no value. 100% money back guarantee on this sort of stuff, man. I want to make sure you're happy and that this stuff provides value. So, and this isn't all about the pitch, but that's where it's at. You'll see an email coming from me in the next couple of days on this. Okay, so back to my original point, guys. Got so much going through my brain because it's draining doing these things. But first of all, appreciate the hour and 15 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes you would devote to sitting in to allow me to help you, to educate you. It is an honor and a privilege every time I get to do this sort of stuff, and an honor and privilege for you guys for me to do this for you as well. Any feedback, anything like that, absolutely, it means the world to me. I greatly appreciate it. If you want the replay, once again, please write me a recommendation. Be kind, and I'll make sure. Although I am saying, if you think I'm full of and I'm not a nice guy, then by all means do it. I'll still send you because you're still writing a recommendation for me. So once again, if you know an organization or have an organization that can benefit from this, please understand, by leveraging these tools and the way this process works, you're going to be in a group where you exceed your plan, bring in way more money, and I'm all about trying to teach companies how to do this as well, and get in the door and talk to people. So I'm more than happy to do this sort of stuff. I do have training that can be laid out for that stuff as well. As always, reach out to me, chris@salestipaday.com. Email me, call me, whatever. The webcast that we have coming up in a couple of weeks, I highly recommend, if you provide services for consumers, it's a great webcast. If you provide services for other businesses, you can extrapolate a ton from it and leverage a lot of what it is, and find sales leads. Don't spend $1 finding them. Get a whole bucket load of them to a point where you have way too many. And not only that, find clients that spend more and close quicker. So I'm going to run through a process with that. It's kick-ass, and I have to say that because it's me putting it together. But once again, ever so grateful for all of you showing up, and I look forward to connecting, conversing, and everything else in the future. And thank you for being here. Have yourself a good day, everyone.